Once again, that was me.
What the matter? You ready?
My cat wanted to show it to me. She wanted to show it to me when she was pregnant as well. Again, it feels very special because I know how afraid she is of everyone. And when I said these days, even she was mean to Chip, I'll never stop giving her food and we're always gonna stay together. So, man, we're very close. Don't know what this thing was up to the past few minutes, but I'm quite sure it was definitely not any criminal interfering with it, right? Again, they could have thrown real sedatives. The only times when they real full sedatives there was as I was typing the title, and you saw the impact it had on me, both in my ability to speak and to write. So take that for what it's worth when you see those delays and the thing that shows up in front of you, and all the oohs and ahs that you get to see. It doesn't matter, it's just gonna fail there later, right? As we said before. Also, the speed. Pay attention to the speed, right? You got the ratio there. This is the size of the file. Eventually we'll go. By the way, that was also on purpose, to be advised on that thing. And that is very important. Now, the reason might be because they are bleeding up space, right? I mean, this is space that is being wasted. This has to go somewhere. So just be advised, even this is an act of cruelty, is a criminal act, just based in its own way. Normally, in and about derivative from something like this, I usually remember those things as I'm waiting. And so far, you got to see the other cat that they kidnapped from her. You got to see Chip's mom. So, the intestine level is still quite up there. I noticed a distinct change in the beat there for the last seconds. I'm sure it's a coincidence too. Which, to be fair, of all the things, actually that one wouldn't be that surprised it was a coincidence. But boy, maybe it was not. Again, I understand how speech works. So any reasonable person, given the amount of coincidences that are guaranteed not to be a coincidence, would assume there's a reflection of bravery of the criminals who choose to abuse the one person with narcotics and other drugs and those animals for no reason at all. Other than both the fact that they do find it amusing and for their own amusement, which is both separate things and just what you want to be internationally known for, right? Because they're trying to get me to be internationally known for things that I don't do, or didn't do, or ever do, or enough to do with me, as you see the criminals with children and everything else, right? On the other hand, as for you, you get to see it. So, but it's okay though. They're gonna say to you that this is about the same thing. And decide which belief. So terrified that they are out there, right? To me, that's such an ideal scenario. It's not even like something I'm comfortable with. That's the ideal scenario. You deciding for yourself. And something that absolutely shit scared the criminals of. See how many crimes you saw happening as of recently? To tamper with evidence from the phone, the cable, the battery. They just to have the confidence that they think that they can pull the plug in what's being recorded in a moment's notice, leaving me by myself. Truly. And by the way, listen to that again. I can tell for the muffling sound is exactly as muffled in almost exactly the same way as before, even though the sound sounds a bit different. Which means you have a criminal that went and then came back. Neat. But I probably still concerned that its manhood didn't got challenged. Because it is an absolute coward and a bitch, and you get to see that every day. Through that crime is not through passing around and making noise in the car. And something much worse than that, but that comes later. As for the things you actually see, now back to real. What else? Or actually could even be better than that. Instead of that, it could be actually a different vehicle doing kind of exactly the same thing in a short period of time in the same video, because you're not listening to any of that at all other than those two. So if that's the case, it means that the criminal is actually witnessing this, which they think is just cool, but we know the criminal implications of that, and especially again not for this crimes only, but for all the other things. As I said, this is what they know is happening. The tamperings, everything else, what is really happening, that's all they know. What else am I thinking? I was saying a minute ago about Chip. Oh yeah, the things you get to see in the online, and the intentions. And those intentions and those attempts are already at the crime that you witness in video. That doesn't require the actual act itself later. That's why it's an intention. If not, it'll be the actual act. So, and also some of them still think we're talking about defamation here. That's how bad it goes. So you can imagine that if they think that that's how bad it goes for the clear actions that they're trying to intend, they wouldn't be paying too much. They'd be finding anything funny. They're dumb, war criminal, and other things. But again, that's not exactly what you're thinking of them right now, right? You're not thinking that they are your Amber Heard of this. Though to be fair, I don't know. Maybe you do think that, and it would be entirely out of place. You notice how pathologic every time I play the video, criminals freak out. Just pick up the ratio. I can tell you, every single time that I'm watching that video, there is some type of crime being done around me. It's pretty shocking. We're gonna download that on this phone just so you can actually watch that. Now it won't be the case because, again, as I said, the bravery and the rest. Oh yeah, they also done something else. Check it out. I just tapped on that now. There is this gap here. You know what, this is important? This one in particular. Because there's air coming up from below. So there's this one as well. Is it a hole now? Is this that will cover or something else that would cover that? It's not there. Or even if it was just an amount of drugs thrown on me by the time when I was closing, that got the same. Again, from the real victims, don't forget. I'm gonna do something else so they would do a crime, and I can point out that as a further proof that they're listening to that, because it's important in this case.